I am convinced the NBA is doing everything they can to stop the Pistons from winning a basketball game. There's no doubt that last night's game was the best game we have seen from the Detroit Pistons, and it wasn't like it was against another garbage team like the Wizards, which Kyle Kuzma, by the way, seems to forget that his team is that bad. This was against the championship contending Boston Celtics. Like, the betting odds going into this game were something else, and I was actually going to put some money on the Detroit Pistons to win this game, but then I remembered that no gambling company sponsors my videos, so I really didn't even bother with it. That being said, it seems like now every single time a team goes up against the Detroit Pistons, they seem to play even harder than if they were to go up against another really good team. Because who in their right mind wants to be on the team or wants to be the team to lose to the 27-game losing streak Detroit Pistons? And I honestly thought that the Boston Celtics understood that. With Joe Mazzulla saying earlier that they do need to go into this game like they are just another team in the NBA. Their record isn't what reflects their team as a whole, and a lot of their games actually happened really close. And for all we know, maybe the Celtics did go into this thinking it is life or death out there. You know, maybe they did. But if that is truly how they felt, they did not show it at all. Well, at least in the first half they didn't. With the Celtics literally getting booed by their own fans while going into the tunnel during halftime, with the score of course being a huge indicator as to why they are being booed, but also the fact that the Pistons were shooting a staggering 61% from the field, unlike the Celtics shooting a terrible 39%. And the main player that I really want to call out that really helped push the Detroit Pistons to this level is of course Cade Cunningham, with the majority of the first quarter and some of the second quarter as well for this Pistons team being a Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham pick and roll play. Starting with actually the first play in the entire game itself with this Jalen Duren screen, Cade Cunningham cuts in, but as you can see with Kristaps Porzingus' length, Jalen Duren is basically invisible. There is no way you can get the ball to him, so this is all up to Cade Cunningham. Now Cade, being the great player he is, especially in this first half, makes his way around Derek White and gets his shot off. Here's just another simple pick and roll with Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham, except this time Drew Holiday is guarding Cade, with Cade doing a great job with this little step back to create his own space and get his own shot off. Nothing really intense here, but just another example as to how many times they are running this play. I mean, mind you, this is only 2 minutes further into the game than before. Big shocker here, we have yet another pick and roll, except this time you can really tell that the Celtics weren't going to be guarding Jalen Duren. With this now being the third time they ran this play, Jalen Duren is yet to touch the ball, and as you get later on in the game, you will see that they actually never gave Jalen Duren the ball on the pick and roll. It is always in Cade's hands. But anyways, they run this pick and roll. We have Derek White who is falling behind, so Al Horford comes to help, which is something that is good to see. You obviously see that Knox is wide open for the three, but if you're Al Horford here, you want to actually go and guard Cade Cunningham. You don't worry about Knox being open for a three, especially a guy that shot 0 for 6 the entire game. And somehow Cade just manages to go in, pump fake, get Derek White to jump, and gets his shot off. Cade Cunningham is a really good player. I mean, they need him out on the floor for 48 minutes if they want to win any game. This play is very similar to the last one that we saw, with Peyton Pritchard basically getting caught behind the screen. Neemias Queta is going to guard Duren, which in this situation, you would hope that Porzingus would be able to push up onto Cade and contest the shot, because once again, you would be leaving Kevin Knox open for a wide open three, which we learned is better to take that risk than let Cade get hot. But instead, Porzingus just kind of sits there with his arms out, doesn't really do much. Peyton Pritchard is too far behind to really make a defensive effort, leading to another Cade Cunningham basket. But for some reason, in the second half, we didn't see this play once. What we saw instead was Cade Cunningham playing with himself. Well, okay, not like that, but you know what I mean. And maybe that's because the Pistons started to see that the Celtics were really catching on to this. I mean, you saw the clip earlier where Horford came to help defense. I mean, maybe the Celtics were catching up on it and they just wanted to switch their plays. But with the Pistons turning into complete ass, I mean, absolute ass garbage in the second half, it was up to the Celtics to really come out hot, or at least lukewarm, to defeat this Pistons team. And ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what Kristaps Porzingus did. With Jaylen Brown being out of this game, I knew it was up to KP to really take that scoring role, and especially with him being deadly from the mid-range and close up against the basket, I had a feeling that if he was really on his game tonight, he would be able to be that player that would score those points for Jaylen Brown. I mean, the guy was firing on all cylinders, and you would think that someone who is being so good in the second half of the game would get the ball in the most clutch moment, right? No, instead they give it to Jayson Tatum, he hucks up some garbage, and they go into overtime. Which makes it even funnier because in overtime, it was mainly KP that took over this game, or took control of this game. And don't get me wrong, Derek White was also a huge factor into this game, but I just wanted to say as well, it was funny that KP was not only so good in the second half, didn't get the clutch shot, but then was also very effective and was very helpful in overtime. Now, you're probably thinking, KingCharge, it just sounds like the Celtics played better than the Pistons. How could the NBA possibly be against them? Well, that's because with 6 seconds left in the game, Cade Cunningham goes up for this block that gets called as a goaltending violation. Now, this is possibly the closest goaltending slash block call we have ever seen in NBA history, so I will let you guys decide in the comments below if the call was correct or if this should have been a block. Because if this was called as a block, it would still be a tie game and the Pistons could have had possession, could have scored. We never know how this could have gone. So like I said, I will let you guys argue in the comments, did this hit the glass first or did Cade touch it first? But if you want to see what the Pistons or Celtics arena would look like if an AI made them, click the video up on the screen. It's one of my newest videos that I made and I'm very proud of it, so it would mean a lot to see you guys go over and check it out. Later.